My name is Gordon Talbot. I'm a student in education and technology. This is a project for Web 2.0 resources assignment, and my web-based application is Timeglider. And like the name indicates, a person can glide over time and build a timeline for their class. You're looking at the home page right now at timeglider.com, and as you scroll down, you can see they have several sample timelines you can look at. Clicking on the Wright brothers, I can take a look at the Wright brother timeline. I can scroll in closer and see the timeline as it begins to get more dense, more populated with minor and major events. You'll also notice that there are several pictures as well as videos embedded in the timeline. What's exciting about this is it can bring alive a particular timeline as you go along. In the wiki assignment, you'll hear me talk about how this is great for history, but this also could be good for a science class talking about major inventions and milestones and breakthroughs in medicine and chemistry. I've also talked to an English teacher who felt like this would be a wonderful tool to go over major genres of literature as well as the contributing authors. So there's many different possibilities that one could use Timeglider to glide over time. I'm going to go into, once you're back on the home page and create an account, you can build your own timeline. You can share it with your students who also can make a timeline, and then put those timelines together. I would envision the students actually presenting their timeline to the class one at a time, maybe 5 minutes each, what have you. But as I go over to a timeline that I built, I wanted to start with I can actually build a new timeline, and I built one called The Rise and Fall of Adolf Hitler. I was able to begin with Adolf Hitler. Instead of scrolling over centuries, as you can see down here, it goes by, you can scroll all the way out to time and very, very close. You can, for minutes even, or you can scroll over, in this case, centuries. So what I've done is I've created a timeline that spans roughly over, 4 or 5 decades, starting with the birth of Adolf Hitler. Now I'm in the working mode right now, so this working mode, I can go in and click, and I can put a title here, Adolf Hitler's born, and maybe put a few words to what that means, and I can include an image and or an audio or video link. In this case, I included an image. Once I've saved that, you can see on the timeline, I have Adolf Hitler is born. And I'll go through some of the key events of his life as a young man. He moves to Vienna and so forth. I'm going to show you a look at the actual timeline. Here I can go and I can share it, edit it, and do some other things. If I publish the timeline right here on this link, I can go and actually see what it looks like. So if you went to my timeline, not in the working mode, I'll give you an idea of how you can see these photos as well as videos. As I scroll over and go into the several decades that I had mentioned, try to go into about 4 or 5 decades. You can see I've added some pictures. So if you, as a customer, if you will, take a look, you can click here and the student can read what was going on, or the captioning. In this case, Adolf Hitler starts World War I. He enlists in the German army. He rises to the rank of corporal and is decorated with the Iron Cross. A little later, he becomes a rising star in politics. Here, he's practicing oration. He finds purpose and meaning to his life when he's appointed an intelligence propaganda advisor as a soldier, and he's able to improve his exceptional oratory skills. And you can see those pictures here on the timeline. As we go further, I've actually created this section. Hitler tries to overtake the Bavarian government. Notice it's this larger print. I find that to be a significant input into Hitler's life. And if I click on that, you see I put many words about the beer hall push, where Hitler wants to overtake the German government. I've also embedded a video link as well. And so students, while they're seeing this, can watch history come alive. In this case, this is a recreation of the beer hall push. I could easily find actual clips and videos from the Third Reich during World War II. We know that the beer hall push was not a success. Adolf Hitler is arrested. He spends time in prison, and while he's in prison, I write here that he writes his autobiography and his political ideology, also known as Mein Kampf, where he outlines the final solution. The final solution, of course, being the extermination of what Hitler considered undesirables, Jewish people, handicapped folks, people who did not agree with his political thinking. Now notice this gray area, expansion. If you click on that, it covers 1938 to 40 rather than just a moment in time, and explains how the Nazi Party expands over into other countries. And of course, under the Holocaust, I have a large gray area because really all of Hitler's adult life and government, he is bent on the final solution. And then again, I have a video clip with sound involved
children
as well.
6 million of those. Did anyone try and stop him from killing so many people? Yes, but they just got killed.
So that's a look live at the actual product. If I go back to Timeglider, now I'm back in the working mode, editing mode. I can come over and I can add something to the timeline. In this case, I might want to add a new event where I might call it the end of Adolf Hitler. I might put a date or a time. In this case, I'll put 1945. I choose to make it just the year only and not a time. I don't have a beginning and an end, just a moment in time for what I'm doing. And then here I might put how several attempts were made on Adolf Hitler's life, eventually ending with the Russian army invading Berlin and Hitler committing suicide, and thus, in effect, the end of the Third Reich. And so once I've made this entry, I can include an image or a video. And once I've done that and hit save, you can see the end of Adolf Hitler, and I can go back in and I can click and change that however I choose and save that. So if you go into my wiki page and click on my sample that I have, it'll show you this, and I'll have the final comments here with the end of Adolf Hitler. So that is a quick overview. Oh, what's very important also is I can go and I can share this event. I can share this event by coming here. I can select, maybe I have 4 or 5 timelines. In this case, I have one, Rise and Fall of Hitler, and I will save that. And then that allows me to share with you and my students this URL, which is embedded in my wiki page, where you can go and see this online yourself. So that's a quick overview of Timeglider, and hopefully it can be an exciting tool not just for history teachers, but for all kinds of teachers. Thank you for listening.